good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Love Fruit podcast. My name's Ronnie, and I'm joined by another guest, a friend of mine that I've got to spend some time with this year. Someone I've seen around at various different places and events and festivals and different things, and that's Richard Arsenault. And Richard is the host of a podcast called All About Feeling Good podcast, and also he is. He has an Instagram account under the same name, so you can go and follow him there. I met Richard at the Canada Fruit Fest, saw him at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. He's from Prince Edward Island, Canada, and then by pure coincidence, last year we were in Rome at the same time, and we ended up meeting up in Rome. we went to the Colosseum together on my birthday, and yeah, Richard. So, anything else you want the listeners and viewers to know about you?
Yeah, no, you pretty much covered it all. Other than that, just, grew up in a small town and always been pretty active and just worked in the west of Canada for a good decade there, starting in 2007, and then came back home around the end of 2018 to pursue a different path because working in construction wasn't always something I wanted to do for a living. So other than that, then I just, started working on myself and started the podcast, doing some vegan activism and then, just growing from there, of course, and basically expanded from vegan into a little bit more of raw vegan, and here we are now.
That's excellent. Thanks for the little bit more information. And what is your story? I mean, I'm guessing that you weren't brought up on a vegan or fruit-based diet, but how did you make that shift and end up in this direction?
Yeah, so I just grew up pretty much regular diet, meat, potatoes, like everybody wants to say. I always grew up eating pretty much home cooked meals. I'm lucky that my parents and my mom always cooked, and we didn't go out too much. We didn't really eat too much fast food, so it was fairly healthy. I live on an island, so there's a lot of fishing. So there was always a lot of fish involved in the diet. But eventually, when I moved out and lived on my own for quite a few years, I was with somebody at the time, and she wanted me to watch a documentary. That one was called Food Choices on Netflix. And I had started going to the gym, taking in protein powders and stuff like that, and so she was concerned about my protein amount, especially having watched a documentary, and so she wanted me to watch it. So we ended up watching it one night, and after the documentary was done, I basically turned to her and I said, like, you want to go vegan? She was like totally in for it. So since that day, basically, we went vegan. I think we finished the few odd things that were in the fridge, in the cupboards, and then after that, we just never looked back, and it was fairly easy for me. I mean, I always looked for ways to be healthier, and I always, thought I was a pretty healthy person. I would try to avoid, fast foods and junk foods and stuff, but just like everybody else, you always end up eating some of it here and there. But yeah,
Sure.
after that, I basically went vegan and would just eat anything vegan. And and then like a year and a half after, which would have been the start of 2018, I started hearing more about the fruit-based diet and the raw vegan diet. And so that's kind of how I learned about it. And then going to the Canada Fruit Festival, which I found out early 2018. I was like, oh, what's this about? And it seemed very interesting, and I was close by because I was working in Alberta, and it was in British Columbia. So yeah, I just jumped into it and went there and just learned even more about it, and it just made even more sense. You know, it was just like going into veganism was basically was the same, right? I watched a documentary, and for me, it flicked a switch in my head. It just made so much sense to go vegan. So, you know, I made that switch, and it was easy. It's different for everybody, but for me, that's just how it ended up. And it was kind of the same deal with going to the Canada Fruit Festival and learning more about raw veganism. Was it just made sense, and it seemed like something that was more of a on the side of living a healthier lifestyle. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and I try to do more, at least 90% raw, and still trying to get to 100% is the goal. But you know, you can't just push yourself too much because that's when
Sure.
you might fail.
Yeah. And did you have any health challenges? Was there anything in particular that attracted you towards trying a healthier type of vegan diet? Was there anything in particular, or was it just, the next step for you?
Yeah, it was. I think it was just the next step. I never really had any health problems that I know of. Pretty much, I just seen it as something that would possibly give me more energy, would just help my overall health, and you know, give you a little bit more clarity. And yeah, so yeah, like I said, I didn't have any health issues that I know of. I was fairly healthy and active, and it just made sense. It looked like something that was healthier, and I like the simplicity behind it. That's another big reason why I kind of moved towards that, because
Sure.
there's just we have so many different foods. You go to the grocery store and it's just aisle upon aisle of stuff, and it's like we really don't need all that stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's
sure.
just excessive amounts of things, and like, you know, like there's no way that us as humans we need that many choices. And nowadays we have the most choices ever, and I think it just causes more confusion, and we're just kind of all over the place with it. And yeah, so I think raw vegan especially, and then also raw vegan was just making it more simplified. And yeah, that's kind of the main reason I moved towards it also, right? So
Sure. And did you have anyone in particular that kind of inspired you, or that was there any particular information you were following, or YouTube channels, or books, or anything that kind of made you inspired you?
yeah, I hadn't read any books, but I was watching a little bit of YouTube, especially after finding out with the Canada Fruit Festival, um, and finding about the people that were involved in it, like Ted Carr, and then later finding out about Melissa Raimondi, which is Melissa Maris now, and just everybody, all the influencers involved there, and Johnny Juicer, and everybody that was part of the movement and was aiming more for a raw lifestyle was definitely the people that helped me. But just the community, there's a big community behind it, and I think mainly it's just collectively everybody that is part of it. It was showing me that there's so many people that are doing it, and they're living a very healthy lifestyle, and you know, healing themselves from different illnesses or disease possibly, or anything at all. And it just, to me, it's that's enough for me to move in that direction, because you know, there's a good group of people doing it, and that gives me the motivation to look in that direction anyways.
So was Canada Fruit Fest actually one of the first things that you kind of heard about this kind of lifestyle from? Was it just from seeing things online about it and stuff?
Yeah, because the 2000 start of 2018, I think it's around that time where I started incorporating more fruits in my diet, because
Right.
I don't know exactly, but I think because the tickets came up for sale, and I seen a post on it on my Instagram, and I was like, hey, what is this? This sounds interesting. You know, they're all vegans, and then they're all like raw vegans on top of that. And I think I looked a little bit more into it, like maybe looked into who Ted Carr was. And I think I knew who Ted Carr was before that a little bit, but, and anyways, going into it, yeah, I just started incorporating more fruits. And yeah, especially going to the Canada Fruit Fest was definitely a big head start in the raw vegan movement, because everybody was there, and you know, you're living it with everybody else. So it was a big indicator that, you know, this is working for a lot of people, and I like it. You know, and the community is just so loving and so passionate, and there's just um, so many people giving out so much good information on so many different topics. And yeah, there's so much to learn there. So I definitely, from the Canada Fruit Fest, is definitely where I started moving in that direction even more.
Yeah, that was so. That was quite an interesting first year at the Canada Fruitfest. What were some of your memories from it?
Oh, just the the energy is very high there. The energy is definitely high, and there's just so much love. Everybody is just, yeah, you know, there's so many people that you've never met or never talked to or anything, but you meet them, and within a couple minutes, you feel like you're friends, best friends already,
Mhm.
and you can talk to anybody about anything. Everybody is just so understanding, and everybody is so caring. And yeah, it's just the community. It just builds a community, and like a very like family feeling to it. And I think
So
that's the main things for me.
the thing, one of the things I remembered about the first year was the storm that happened.
So sorry, what was that?
One of the things I remembered about the first year was the storm that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your memory of that?
Well, you know, we were all a little bit panicking, but at the same time, it wasn't that bad. We're just like, where can we hide from this, you know, horrible rainfall? And at the same time, we were all laughing and having fun, and some people were running in the rain and, you know, dancing and whatnot. And maybe the rest of us were running after our tents that were flying away, or stuff that were getting soaked. But other than that, we, you know, kind of collectively all came together in the big tent, and tried to hide from it. So yeah, it was fun. It was different.
Um, and you went. Did you go to Woodstock that year, or was it the next year you went to both of them?
Yeah, yeah. Next year I went to both of them. I don't think I knew about Woodstock until I was at the
Sure,
Canada Fruit Fest, and then by then it was too late, and you know, I had other plans and stuff. So,
sure,
but yeah,
sure.
I didn't. After finding out about the Woodstock Fruit Festival, I was like, there's no way I can't go next year. I'm definitely buying tickets and going for sure, because it's pretty fun, especially it being longer and having more people and so many things to do there as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, so on your sort of journey, I mean, what have been some of the things um, that you would kind of recommend to other people in the way that you've kind of moved towards a vegan diet, then to a more raw vegan diet? What are the things you've learned about that process?
Yeah, well, I guess starting with just going into a vegan lifestyle, I mean, you just got to educate yourself as much as you can, find whatever information you can, learn about it, find people that are living that lifestyle is one of the biggest things. And then you can find some motivation, some inspiration from these people, um, and reach out to people, ask questions. And if you're somebody that feels that you can jump right into it, then go for it. Um, but I think for most people, it's a little bit hard to go, straight into it,
Sure.
cold turkey, like they would say. And so just make gradual switches, try to do one vegan meal a day, and just gradually progress from there. But yeah, just basically all the information you can take in and learning from others that are doing it, and just join into communities. There's plenty of people on Instagram. There's plenty of Facebook groups as well. There's plenty of documentaries on Netflix and YouTube, and then from there, it's kind of the same for going raw. It's just trying to introduce more fruits, seeing how you're listening to your body as well. You don't want to push your body too much. You want to try different things, and see how your body reacts to it. And yeah, just basically same thing, just learn about people that are living the raw vegan lifestyle, or into fruitarianism, and try it for yourself. That is the biggest thing, is just trying it. And yeah.
So you started sharing stuff about your own journey, I guess, in your Instagram, but you've also got the podcast. So tell us about that. When did all that start? And what's your aim, or what are you trying to do with your podcast?
Yeah, no, for sure. I started it would have been fall of 2018. And yeah, I just like, there's not that many vegan podcasts out there. Like it's still kind of starting. There's more and more all the time, but I just couldn't find, I think my main idea is just I couldn't find any other podcast that would just interview anyone and just sharing their story of going vegan and how they stay vegan, and tips and advice on going vegan and all that stuff. Just there's a lot out there that's they're sharing, or they're talking and interviewing people like doctors and other influencers and stuff like that. And so I figured, it sounded interesting. I wanted to meet other vegans is the other thing. I wanted to see, at first it kind of started with, I wanted to meet vegans from my island where I'm from, and I wanted to interview all of them as much as I could, and reach out to people and try to, just bring stories on, and so that more people could relate, because it's just anybody that is vegan and is interested in sharing their story, because everybody's story is so different, and there's little bits here and there from everybody's story that can impact somebody, and somebody else can relate to it. So it started off as I wanted to reach out to all the vegans that were local or that were in my province, and then eventually I was like, well, I have to expand from there. And yeah, it's just been really fun to reach out and get people reach out to me asking if they could come on the podcast. And it just feels good that it just kind of builds a community there, and they get to come on, share their story. And yeah, the aim is just to basically have as many stories from vegans on there, so that more people can relate, more people can find similar stories or similar backgrounds to themselves, and maybe they'll get curious into moving into a plant-based lifestyle, and they can find advice from these people there, and maybe struggles or doubts or anything they've been through, or any types of illnesses or diseases, or any physical or mental changes they've seen. And yeah, it's just been really fun to video chat and talk to people and just meet these people, because now it just builds like a bit of a friendship that way, you know. And yeah, there's just so many people out there, and I just want everybody to just come in and share their stories, and it just shows how many people are out there. It's not just doctors or big
Sure.
activists or anybody that's, that you hear from. It's just your regular day-to-day
Yeah,
vegan. Anybody really can come on and share their story.
it's kind of funny because a lot of the people that are some of the best examples of doing a vegan or a raw vegan diet, especially in a healthier way, are often people that no one's ever heard of, and not
Hmm.
necessarily influencers or people that share their life out there.
Yeah,
People that just do it for themselves, really, or just
for
found it.
sure.
So you did quite a lot of travel this year, and like, how did you end up doing that? What made you decide to do that?
Yeah. Well, I always felt like traveling. Like I said, I love meeting people. I love making new connections, new friends, and I mean, traveling to different places and trying out different new fruits is always something I want to do. And yeah, I felt like once I was part of the vegan community and in raw vegan community, a lot of people travel and there's a lot of inspiration to go explore different places in the world. And not only that is we all know that traveling expands your mind, it opens up new
Sure.
doors, it helps you like understand different perspectives and just see different things that you've never seen before. And can just help you become a different person, a better person. So yeah, I got inspired. I always wanted to travel and took the advantage after I had sold my house last spring. I had money from it. I said, well, here's the time to go traveling. I'm not working and I have some money, so I want to go do it now before it's too late. And
Yeah.
so I went out there and kind of planned a bit of a trip. A lot of different things happened. It was only supposed to be for a month with a different friend, and then that fell through right before I left. And then I ended up going to London anyways, and it ended up even better because I ended up with some really good friends that were in the same community and mindset, and we hung out. And then yeah, and then I just contacted a bunch of people that I knew that I had met in the past through Instagram, Facebook, and they were through Europe. So I just was kind of hopping around, visiting these people, staying with them for a little bit, and they were showing me around. And yeah, I just created a way longer trip that ended up to be 3.5 months. And like you said earlier, I happened to wanted to go to Rome for 3 days, and then I put it out on Instagram, and you guys said we're gonna be there as well. So I was like, nice, that's awesome. So yeah, we hung out there for those 3 days, and then I went off and kept going, and yeah, I just made so many friends and new connections. I don't know, it just feels really good to meet people and hear about their story and just learn more about
You
where they're
had
from
a
and
did,
different
did you find
cultures.
did you find it relatively easy to find fruit everywhere you went?
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty easy. I mean, it all depends where you go, I guess. But for the places I was, there's a lot of major cities and bigger places. But I mean, you could find fruits in any supermarket. So
Sure.
sometimes it could be a little bit tougher depending on the prices and the quality or what they have. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, it was fairly easy.
Was there
Yeah.
any highlights for you in terms of the produce in any particular place?
Yeah. For the most part, I think Spain was pretty good, but Morocco was definitely my favorite spot for fruits and vegetables, especially. They have loads of it in the markets, and we had a hostel, and you'd walk down the alley, and as soon as you got to the first street, there's just markets full of fruits and vegetables. The prices are really good, the quality is really good because most of those places you know, they come straight from the farm. They're a bunch of little small farmers, and you know, nothing is generally sprayed and stuff like that. It's mostly all organic food, and like I said, yeah, the prices are really good, and it tastes amazing. I've had like the best cucumbers there. That's definitely one thing that I remember is the
Wow, yeah,
cucumbers were so fresh and so good, and they were at a really good price. Like it was almost sad to come back home after because, you know, you find like kind of a shitty little English cucumber for like $1.50, upwards of maybe sometimes $2.50 for one
sure.
cucumber. When out there you can get like these nice, fresh um, cucumbers, and you can get like seven of them for like $1. So you know, but the oranges and all the fruits there were good. Some fruits like mangoes were really good too. Um, but yeah, sometimes you had to hunt for different fruits like
Sure.
melons and stuff like that. But yeah,
So
it was that.
Morocco's a place to check out for fruit and vegetables then.
Yeah, yeah, Morocco is definitely good. It was the place that we really liked. We pretty much kind of explored more or less the south part of Morocco, going from I landed in Marrakesh. And we went to and followed the coast towns and little cities there on the coastline, and where we were was called Essaouira, and that was definitely one of the top places for us because we went there and went to visit a few other small places, and then we came back because we were like, let's just finish our last week there because I don't know, to us it was our favorite place that we visited in Morocco, and it had a lot of really good selections of fruits and vegetables in the market. So
Sure. So
yeah.
what are you, what are you planning next? What are you doing at the moment, and what are your plans for coming up this year?
Yeah. Well, so far I am just, you know, taking this time, you know, we have a lot of downtime here, not working and stuff with the virus and that, but just taking time to myself, you know, and trying to do a lot of movement, yoga, meditation, um, journaling, just a lot of things for self improvement, and also brainstorming a few little business ideas. You know, just kind of going through, trying to really figure out what my passion is and what I really want to focus on and what I want to help people with. And but other than that, you know, I was hoping to go to the Canada Fruit Festival. That seems like it got canceled. I got a trip in July for a wedding, my first wedding there in Alberta. So hopefully that's gonna still go on. And then hopefully the Woodstock Fruit Festival is still going to be going as well because I got tickets to there, so I can't wait. I mean, once
Excellent.
it's over, you just want to you just can't wait for the next year to go. But this winter, if plans go right, I do want to go either explore Thailand, Bali, or places like that, and just spend at least a month out there to just
Nice.
relax and enjoy some really good tropical fruits, like especially like durian.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely one of my favorites. And yeah, so possibly Thailand, if not maybe South America somewhere, as I got friends in quite a few different places. And so I just want to go visit people and go somewhere out there
Sure.
for some traveling.
So if people want to follow you and learn more about what you're doing, and you know, get in touch with you and so on, how can they do that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I like you said at the start, I'm on Instagram. It's just at allabout.feeling.good. And I also have a YouTube channel. Still working on it. I got some videos on there. And that is also all about feeling good on YouTube. It should come up for you. And everything that I post on Instagram is basically posted on Facebook as well. But Facebook is just my name, Richard Arsenault. And same profile picture as Instagram. So if you find me on Instagram, you can probably find me on Facebook as well. And also have the podcast, All About Feeling Good podcast, which is also a Facebook page. And from there, you can find the links. It's also posted on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcast, and Stitcher. And there's also my website link. All the links are in my Instagram page under my link tree there. And yeah, it's posted on plenty other podcast platforms. Mostly anyone that you guys would listen to, it's going to be there. And yeah, other than that, that's where you can find me.
Excellent. So, All About Feeling Good podcast, if anyone wants to find out, and maybe some people feel like they might be a good a fit for your podcast. How could they get in touch with you if they wanted to be interviewed for it?
Yeah, for sure. You can just send me a DM on Instagram, or if you can find my All About Feeling Good podcast page on Facebook. There's also a scheduler there. You can schedule yourself in if you'd like, or just private message me and we can just kind of go back and forth and figure out a good time that fits for both of us. But like I said, there's a scheduler there, so you can just throw in your name and time that fits good for you. And if it doesn't work for me, then I guess I'll let you know. But yeah, it's all on there. Just give me a shout.
And do you have any words of advice just before we finish up today?
Yeah, well, I guess final advice would be just try it for yourself. You know, if you feel like you want to make some changes in your life and you want to be healthier, you want to feel better, just find the information, learn about it, and just try it, because there's no harm in trying. And if you don't try, you won't know. So I think is gather the information and give it a go and see how you feel, and you know, give it an honest try, not just one day, but yeah, try it for a good couple weeks, a month if you have to, and just, you know, find whatever you got to do to find some inspiration and motivation, and you'll find yourself in a better place.
Well, thanks everyone. Thanks, Richard, and thanks everyone for listening. And if you want to learn more about what Richard's doing, check out the All About Feeling Good podcast, and you can follow him on Instagram, All About Feeling Good. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Richard. And I hope that a lot of people listening are going to maybe see us at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And if anyone's interested in a fruit festival in the UK as well, you can go to fruitfest.co.uk to learn more about that. But thanks for joining us today, Richard. And for everyone listening and watching, we'll see you in the next episode of the Love Fruit Podcast. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.